Now, all right. Let's see. You ready? Fire away. It is now, Iris.
And I'm from DeSoto, Missouri.
Absolutely good.
And I was just wondering, what advice would you give to the young ladies here who are not necessarily interested in seeking political office, but who wish to be active and informed voters?
Okay. A couple of things. First of all, not everybody has to run for office. That's not the simple piece. But if you are, being from DeSoto is a good start. Real quickly, I think you have, everybody here has been chosen as a leader by your community. People in your community see something in you that's special. And when you talk about leadership, leadership has a whole lot of different ways that it can play out. Sometimes leadership is somebody that's out in front of the band leading like a drum major. Other times leader is somebody that just brings character and diligence and honesty to any discussion. So, what I said before about service is very, very important. I think you have to have a service mentality in which you're trying to help those that are at least able to help themselves. My advice is to be a critical thinker, read as much as you possibly can, and try to use your ears as much as your mouth to move things forward. And you'll be amazed at how many people will listen to you if you show the basic common respect for their views. But the bottom line is that people see something special in you, and try to the best you can stay active and out in your community to make a difference for them. Yes.
I'm Brittany, representing Cockrell City. What do you think will be the biggest challenge in your political career within the next 5 years?
I think that overall, the biggest challenge we've got as a state and as a country is kind of meeting this new economy. And it's a world economy. I spoke about it before. The competitions that we're in, it used to be, Missouri against Kansas, or, DeSoto against Herky or whatever. But the jobs of the future, the careers of the future are based on a world economy. And that just requires a whole different way of educating, a whole different way of thinking. And so as we look at this, the places that are going to get stuck and the states and the regions that are going to fall behind are those that don't grab the future, don't realize we have to compete for the future, and don't understand how fundamentally important that education is, and that education for the long haul, a lifetime experience is there. So my biggest challenge is going to be making sure that we turn local citizens into state citizens, into national citizens, into people that are prepared to compete in a worldwide economy.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tia Sarkar and I'm from Warrensburg. So how would you describe your professional relationship with your fellow government officials and those that you meet on the campaign trail?
Yeah, it's funny in this job, when I give the state each of the years I've given it, I've stood in front of the legislature and said, I need all 163 members of the House and all 34 members of the Senate working with me. Because we got problems too big for any individual to solve. And that sounds like just a kind of a phrase, but when you think about it, this is a very diverse state we live in. My golly, if I was going to give one piece of advice to everybody here, it's meet new people every day, because we've got like 6 different states just in this room. Okay, so the point I make is that what I try to do is make sure that when I see members in the legislature, when I see other public officials, I see them in places where they're comfortable in their districts, in their areas, in their home areries, so that I get a chance to interact with them in a natural way, and then try to figure out how we can do things to make the incremental change that'll move the state forward. So I try to be respectful of their time, respectful of their positions, but not give up any of my values. And I think that beats the heck out of what we're seeing in a lot of other places of the country, where people are just basically arguing all the time. The easiest part of politics is saying what's wrong with somebody else's position. It's incredibly easy. I can pick differences all day long. The real challenging art of public policy is finding areas where you can get people to agree, to come together and do that. So I spend a lot of my time trying to listen, trying to bring people together, trying to let them vent, shall we say, just a little bit. bring them together and move the state forward. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Kiana from Cockrell City. Taking in consideration your last year of high school, what advice do you have as we go into ours?
Well, I mean, my last year of high school, I didn't study nearly hard enough. I don't mean that because I wasn't a decent student. I was an okay student. I'm not saying I wasn't valedictorian, but I managed to get my way through. I think that one of the things we're trying to do for folks senior year of high school is to be challenged. I think in many of the schools around this state, outstanding students like yourselves will get through that junior year and you've almost got all your credits done. I mean, when you get to your senior year and it's kind of easier sometimes. So my advice to you is take the hardest possible classes you can. Take as many AP classes as you possibly can take. Take as many college credit courses as you can possibly take. I mean, the folks you're competing with are not just the people in your classroom, not just the people in your school districts, but around the world. And you better take as challenging a curriculum as you possibly can. That's number one. Number two, and this will sound a little odd and I guess paternalistic, but man, oh man, when you look back at high school, I went to a small school in DeSoto, somebody here said before. I had the opportunity in DeSoto to play football, to play basketball, to be on a track team, to play on a tennis team, to act in plays, to be on a debate team, to be in student council, to, you know, a number of things. The point I make there is not that I was particularly good at any of them, but all these extracurricular things that you can do in high school, sometimes you just don't have time to get those done when you get to college. So, I mean, jump in and do that stuff. I mean, try to have as diverse a year as you possibly can. I mean, if they need somebody to work the lights at the play, go do that. I mean, so engage all the way. Take as tough classes as you can. Try to engage in things that it's analogous here. I'm giving a long answer to a short question. I apologize, but my last year of undergraduate school at the University of Missouri, I always wanted to learn how to do fencing. Somebody, you know, like swords and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, there's not that many opportunities to sort of Missouri to be a fencer, you know, especially if you're playing football and basketball and all that sort of stuff. There's not a lot of folks that are into that. But when I was at the university, they had a fencing class. So my last year, after I had enough credits, I took fencing. It's just a 1-hour class, no big deal. But the point I make is that there's those opportunities for you too in your high school. Do some things you haven't done before. Stretch yourself. Take tough classes. And then the other part, I don't know. Everybody here is very lucky. You're healthy, you're smart, you're young, you're capable. There are a lot of folks that have a lot of challenges. A lot of challenges. My mom was, she died 28 years ago. She was a learning disabilities teacher. And when she was diagnosed with cancer, she went back to the classroom for her last year before she passed to get strength from kids. Help folks less fortunate than you. You know, try to do some things that you know, some people get dealt off the top of the deck and some get dealt off the bottom. Do some things that for people that need help, and because only when you're serving, you know, the greatest gift you can give is your time. The greatest strength you'll get is when you see the smile on somebody's face for something that was unexpected. And don't underestimate what a role model you can be for younger folks and for folks that have significant challenges in their lives.
Thank you.